So today, what we're going to be doing on our little video is learning how to find out where we mark our vamps and tack them, and so that we have an idea of where to start gathering. So we'll begin by measuring, and you should still have your pattern from the pattern that we had made in the footwear pattern making YouTube video. So you should have your outside pad and your vamp pattern on there. And you have your center lines and your middle line that you're going to use for finding where you mark your moccasin pad. So what you do is lay it on top of your pattern here. You'll just make a small little mark there and these two side lines. So you need those three marks on your moccasin. Then you'll take your vamp, lay it over top of where your vamp is drawn out on your paper. And then with your marker, you're going to lift your moccasin vamp, and on this line make a small mark underneath and also on the sides. So you have those marks ready, and what you're going to do is to find out where you're going to start gathering on your moccasin. I like to lay it down at that 3/4 inch mark that we had made when we drew our foot out. You put your vamp down on the moccasin pad 3/4 of an inch back. You bend your hide over. So the big toe area, you want to lay it nice and straight all the way up. Where it starts to bend away here is where we're going to make another mark. You're going to do a overhand stitch straight from the corner of your vamp up to this marked area. So when you get to the marked area when you're sewing, this is where you're going to start gathering all the way around. And we do the same on the small toe side. So then we'll turn our good sides together, so that's your outside. You're going to turn it inside out to sew it. You use your welt, you place it between the vamp and the moccasin pad. Make sure your marks on your vamp here line up. Your welt is even, and that mark. So those marks match up. You're going to get your needle and you're just going to tack it for now. So when you're tacking like this, you want to always measure the welt to your vamp. Never measure it to the bottom. So measure your vamp and your welt to your mark. And this here, when you're going, we know it's straight sewing, just a straight overhand with no gathers. So this should lay all nice and flat. And you're going to tack it there and to this mark here in the center of the toe. Tack that one. So measure the vamp and the welt back to this far corner and this far mark that we made here, and we're going to tack it there. So we'll start sewing. You just do the whip stitch or overhand stitch, and again it's 1/8 of an inch in and 1/8 of an inch apart. So you stitch right up to your first tacking mark. So now that we're at our tacking mark, our first one, I'm going to remove that tacking. Now I'm going to begin to gather. So your stitches on the vamp and the spacing stay the same as you were doing here, but on this on the moccasin bottom, you're going to take a little bit the wider stitch on the moccasin bottom. So I would say it's about 2/8 of an inch instead of the 1/8, and you're going to pull the pad back and then you're going to continue with your same width of stitch. And then when you tighten this up, it will gather. So once you're at your center mark, you continue gathering until you hit your tacking mark. Once you get here, you're going to sew just the straight overhand down to your final tacking. Then you'll knot it off. So once you're all done, you've did all your gathering, it's all nice and even. You would take your scissors and rub the seam so that it flattened out, and then you would turn it inside out. So then that's what it's going to look like. So if you want more information about moccasin making, you can look forward to maybe some future YouTube on at the Portage College site, or you could contact Portage College.